Welcome back to our never-ending post-season 1 stretch of episodes in the DCPU, at least until I'm guessing the DCU dies. I'm Frank, back again with Thomas, and today we're joined by our friend Jerry.
Hello.
He is a Green Lantern expert. Is that fair to say?
Expert might be overstating things, but I've read a fair bit of green and other colored lanterns.
Oh, there you go.
What's your favorite color of lantern besides green?
Um, it that's a tough one. I do really like the Red Lantern runs, um, especially in the New 52. But I have a special spot in my heart for Larfleeze and the Orange Lantern Corps.
That's Greed, right?
Yeah, Avarice, but
Avarice.
same
And
difference.
today the three of us are here to talk about Lanterns, the HBO DC Studios series. Yeah, we're going to be just talking about it, not going into in depth, kind of like the Supergirl episode, just more like a review and reactions. Because the show just came out. There's not a lot to talk about in terms of aftermath or production history or that sort of thing. Before we get into any more discussion, I'm just going to put a big spoiler warning. We're going to be spoiling the entire episode of the show. There's a very big twist or reveal at the end. So this is your chance to click off, okay? For some context, it is the main showrunner is it Damon or Damien? I think it's Damon Lindelof.
Damon.
Uh yeah, he worked on Lost with JJ Abrams. He's done I know he did The Leftovers. He did, and this is I think the most important thing to cite, the Watchmen HBO series, which was a sequel to the comic. And I loved Watchmen. So as soon as I heard that they were making a Green Lantern show, I was a little skeptical about the tone that they were going to take here, but knowing that the guy who did the Watchmen HBO series was going to be doing this, I was a little more at ease. And I think now that we're here and the show is starting and the first episode's out, I feel really good about this.
Yeah, I thought it was a really strong first episode.
I think it looks fantastic. I think the performances are all really good. Like you guys know better than me, but I feel like Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan is pretty fucking great.
A lot better than
And
some previous iterations we got.
Name and shame. Name and shame.
Aaron Pierre, I haven't seen Rebel Ridge, so this is my first time seeing him in like anything. And I've heard that some people are saying like he's basically just doing his shtick from Rebel Ridge. I don't really care. It's good. It's
It's a
really
good
good.
shtick.
But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's actors who've had careers spanning 50 years that just have one shtick.
Clint Eastwood.
Oh, that's more like fucking 70 years. Does the show open with John as a kid
Yeah.
watching TV? Okay, that's what I thought. So the show has this structure where it doesn't hop back and forth necessarily, but there is a structure where it shows, in this episode anyway, 1996 is what we open with. And then most of the show, and most of the episode, I mean, takes place in 2016, which is interesting because I didn't think they were going to, I thought the whole story they were going to tell here was going to be contemporary. I didn't realize most of what we'd be watching. I mean, we don't know because there's, it's a weekly release, thank God. But, I was expecting it to take place around the same time as Superman or something, or after Superman, not 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I do wonder how much of the show is going to end up being in 2026
Yeah.
and how much is going to be in 2016. Because I feel like most of it's going to be 2016 and then maybe like I don't know, like a third is in 2026. But it'll be interesting to see how they balance that out.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, I'd probably say maybe, and Jerry's watched Better Call Saul, so he
I was gonna
understands. Yeah, it's like I think most of it's probably going to be in the past for the first half at least. I mean, we're only looking at 8 episodes, but I feel like with Better Call Saul, you do have the present day stuff at the end, and you get very little of it for the first like 4 or 5 seasons, and then season 6 they dedicate like the last 2 episodes to it, maybe more.
3.
And I can kind of see this being the same deal where we get the story that sets up the cliffhanger that we not I don't know if you'd even call it a cliffhanger, but the stinger of this episode, which we'll talk about it soon. I guess that's, there's a lot of questions, and I think we're gonna get some answers across maybe like the first 4 or 5. And it's also written by Tom King, you know, great comic book writer. Don't don't look into what else he does or has done. And Chris Mundy, I've never heard of. Who's Chris Mundy? Let's take a quick look here.
His name isn't blue on Wikipedia.
Known for Ozark, True Detective, and Lanterns. Okay, checks out. True Detective was cited as a direct inspiration for the show, so yeah. Okay, so yeah, 1996. We see a young Jon Stewart watching television with his brothers. There's an Air Force veteran and test pilot, Hal Jordan, who is Earth's first member of the Green Lantern Corps. He's on a 60 Minutes interview after he reveals his existence to the public while intercepting a meteor over Victoria Falls 10 years earlier. John lives in Coast City with I think he has 2 or 3 brothers, and then his dad.
Oh, is that confirmed in the show? I didn't catch that because I had that written down as a question.
I don't know. This is just what Wikipedia says. I guess I thought either I kind of assumed it was just Coast City, like when he's getting picked up by Hal later in the car.
That's Coast City for sure.
Okay.
But I don't know if he like moved there because he was training under Hal.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I think Wikipedia might be wrong because I'm pretty sure John is from Detroit in the comics. So maybe that's supposed to be Detroit in the beginning.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It would suck if they moved him, but
yeah, I don't know why they would do that. I do like that it's 60 Minutes because 96, it's like the biggest show on television. Like in the 90s, 60 Minutes is one of the highest rated shows in television, and it's like a very credible, very serious outlet. Unlike today with CBS being ran by Barry Weiss.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Something about that interview. Am I weird? I thought it was odd when they're talking about Hale's backstory and or like his past and his dad being a test pilot. They show footage. I don't know if it's of his crash or a crash.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too. I didn't think to write down any note about that, but I was like, do they show death on TV like that? I mean, I guess 60 Minutes is a serious program,
But like, okay, like let's say you're interviewing Pete Davidson and then they're talking about his dad and then they show 9/11 footage. Like, is that not?
Oh my God.
It's to give visual context, Jerry.
Like,
that's fucking great. No, you make a great point. I don't think they'd show that. At least they'd say like, and this next part will be graphic, or they'd put a disclaimer at the top of it. Yeah.
It has the Live Leak logo in the corner.
In 96?
Yeah.
Like, imagine one of Hal's relatives watching that and then being like, oh.
Yeah, Hal's uncle is like, oh, there's my brother's death. Yeah, no, that is pretty crazy. I didn't catch this. Well, maybe is Wikipedia embellishing again, or did I just not catch this? But I don't remember it saying that he intercepted a meteor.
If they did, it was like throwaway.
Yeah, I did not catch that. I'm gonna bring that up again later. Now that that's there,
I think that's a reference to like a really old Green Lantern comic.
Okay, I have another theory. It's pretty out there. We'll talk about it later when we talk about another character.
It's the meteor that killed the dinosaurs.
Yeah, in 1986, it came back a second time.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's pretty interesting that Hal has been active for 30 years. Like, because it says in the interviewer says that he's been active for 10 years in 96. So like Green Lantern's been running around since the 80s in continuity. And I think that's really cool because it's like, not only is he an inspiration to John, but I bet he was a huge influence on Clark.
Yeah.
Too. I'd really like to see Hal and Clark interact at some point, even if he's not the main Green Lantern going forward. And we'll talk about how likely that is later, given the ending of the episode. But yeah, and then John's dad shoots an apple off his head with a fucking gun.
That
which
was
is the most
crazy.
Yep.
insane.
I thought he was just gonna beat his ass.
But
And then he was
it doesn't even seem like the apple thing is a punishment either.
Yeah, he seems like happy, proud.
It's like playing catch or something. Like that's how normalized it is. It's wild. And it's like John is an adult in 2016, right? It's 20 years later, and he's calling his dad on the phone and they're having casual conversation. So it's like even as an adult, John has either he's gotten over it and made up with his dad, or he just has not processed the fact that his dad almost killed him like 30 times, judging from the number of bullet holes on that garage door.
Over the course of years, judging from the height, but
oh fuck, you're right.
It's
like,
about him not having fear.
You know, instead of doing the whole like notches on the door frame, that
yeah. And Thomas, you're right. It's you bring up it's about not having fear, and it's like you think his dad's going to be mad when he comes home, but his dad is actually like, so what did you learn about him from the interview? I don't know if it's the other kids too, or if it's just John, but he's grooming John to be a Green Lantern.
And it's kind of interesting too, because the other kids, we don't know if it's his brothers, but I'm assuming it's his brothers, and they're like, turn off the TV, and you think it's going to be because they're going to get yelled at, but I guess they just don't want him to shoot a gun at his head.
I mean,
which is fair,
I'm not volunteering for William Tell with a gun.
Is he doing this to make him try to become a Lantern in the future, or is there a different reason that he's doing this?
There's parents who push their kids really hard in school, and it's like, you're going to be a doctor, and it's like not about what the kid wants. And I think his dad is like, I want my boy to be a superhero. I want him to be a fucking Green Lantern. If it could happen to Hal fucking Jordan, it could happen to my boy. So I'm going to make sure that happens. And I don't know if that's anything like the books, because I have never read a Green Lantern comic in my life. You two have read some Green Lantern comics. But the idea of like grooming yourself to be chosen by the Guardians, that's really interesting. Or being groomed by your parent, not by yourself.
But like, it would also imply some sort of knowledge beyond like what is publicly available at that time too, if that's the first interview with Hale.
That's true.
Maybe we'll find out later in some further flashbacks that there is more behind that.
Or maybe it's just a generic, like, he wants him to join the military kind of thing. Because, sometimes families have that where, like, your grandpa was in the army, I was in the army, you got to join the army too.
Yeah, there are definitely people like that.
Because as far as I can recall, I mean, any comic book character has like a million origins, but John Stewart, I mean, yeah, he was like hand chosen by the Guardians as a replacement, but it wasn't like from a kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's also going to be interesting because the whole episode they're talking about like he's the backup to Hal, and then but as we know in 2026 or 2025,
there's a bowl-cut elephant in the room.
Yes, I was wondering, like, they establish in this show Hal Jordan's the first. John's being trained as his backup or substitute or whatever. So what is the deal with Guy Gardner? I wonder this too, because I also, I didn't know if like the one lantern per planet or sector thing was how it worked in the books.
It depends on, again, the continuity, but typically it's 2 per sector, 1 per planet, and then Earth is just an exception.
Okay. And I do know that Guy Gardner is going to show up. I mean, I'd have to double check my sources, but I believe I read in the trades like a year ago that Nathan Fillion was in the cast list for the show. So
they show him later at the
quite
trailer.
Honestly, if Guy Gardner didn't show up, I would be very annoyed because it seems like a major blind spot for the show to not talk about.
Maybe Guy kills Hale.
Genuinely, like maybe. I mean, I don't know.
I don't see that being the case, but like it's certainly a possibility.
No, it could be a possibility, and like I don't know. That I want to talk about at the end, but if we're talking about Guy Gardner, he's certainly on the suspect list.
Mm.
But the weird thing is, like, he's already a Lantern. Like,
Yeah.
Superman takes place in 2025, and we see Guy Gardner, doing his thing in that movie with a ring and the whole get up and the oath. Going back to the interview, I had a note here. So I guess Alan Scott, does he not exist in this continuity?
Alan
Are they-
Scott is always kind of he has a weird relation to the Lanterns.
He's not a real Lantern.
Yeah.
Despite being called a Green Lantern, he's not a real Green Lantern.
He's just a guy that survived a train crash and from a magical lantern that happened to be green and then fashioned it into a ring and called himself the Green Lantern, but he has no relation to the Green Lantern Corps.
Okay. I did not know any of that. All right. I was just wondering because I had heard of Alan Scott. I knew he was like the Golden Age Green
Yep.
Lantern. I was just wondering, okay. All right.
But the Alan Scott and just Golden Age heroes in general do raise like an interesting point with the interview. They say it's like the first interview with a superhero, and it's like, were there heroes before this? How it raises broader implications for this new universe.
Does she say that?
I believe
I thought she just said it was the first interview
with him.
I could be mistaken. I'm pretty sure the line was something like the first heart-to-heart with a superhero.
Maybe they just don't give intimate interviews or something. Either way, it does raise interesting questions, and I had these thoughts when we were, all watching Superman in theaters. You get to the Hall of Justice, or what will eventually become the Hall of Justice, and there are murals all over the wall with Golden and Silver Age like heroes. Like Wildcat and shit. And it's like, these are people who presumably, I don't know, were the JSA or something, like there's a bunch of them. Like, I don't know off the top of my head, but there's like 25 people on there. Yeah. I don't know.
It could also be something as simple as like, they're just using the term superheroes now. And previous, it was just like meta enhanced or something.
Or just vigilante or
metahumans.
Yeah. No, it is interesting. So let's well, you know what? Yeah, well, okay. So I'll just get through the first part of the plot here in 2016, but I have more questions. An adult John is being trained as a reserve lantern and expresses annoyance at not yet wearing the ring. Hal jumps out of the car he's driving, forcing John to wear Hal's ring to save himself. On his way to meet him, the ring releases a backup consciousness of Hal, recorded in case of his death, which has not been updated in 10 years. The consciousness sends Hal a message. There's hail in Rushville, Nebraska. This prompts Hal to fly to Rushville, with John making his own way there. A lot of questions. First off, is it normal for the Guardians to preemptively train a replacement or substitute? It just seems like unusual to me that the Guardians are like, while Hal Jordan is Green Lantern and whatever the deal is with Guy, they're like, we're gonna train another one.
You only really see it with like Guy and John in the comics being trained as backups, as far as I'm aware. But what happened to Hal was the exceptional circumstance where Abin Sur happened to die near, or well, not necessarily near him, but in his planet, and the ring found Hal.
Okay, so they normally do train people like this, and Hal's circumstances are unique. Okay,
well, I think they usually go to Oa to train though.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be like being trained on a planet in the sector you're going to. It's like you go to like school, you go to like military school,
and Kilowog beats the shit out of you, and
maybe they did. Maybe they have gone to Oa already. John says it's been 2 months, and maybe this is like the field training part.
I thought he said he hadn't been off planet yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did say that. I think the whole thing too is interesting because like it makes it sound like they had like a talent search for a backup Green Lantern, which I think is interesting and kind of weird. I don't know. Like it's like America's Got Talent, but they're trying to find someone without fear.
Right. And again, it's interesting because it's like John has been groomed from childhood for this purpose by his father. And it's like, how often does that happen? Like, are there always people on planets that are like trying, like tryhards to, become a Green Lantern? Or is it usually just like Hal, where not necessarily where, Abin Sur gives him the ring and shit, but like, do the Guardians just detect whoever has the right, I don't know, heart, spirit,
Well,
willpower?
I think the ring seeks out the wearer or future wearer. It
So
searches for
who,
someone with high willpower,
but
or at least in the case of the Green Lanterns.
the are the rings designed by the Guardians or do they predate the Guardians? How does that work?
Good question.
I think the rings are designed by the Guardians after the Manhunters failed, but because of the existence of the other cores, that might get a little messy lore wise. I'm not entirely sure.
What are the Manhunters? Because all I know is Martian Manhunter.
Different things. The Manhunters were the Guardians' first attempt at space cops, like a peacekeeping corps. They were robots, possibly cyborgs some of the time, but I think usually just robots. And they end up doing the typical robot thing. Well, like, if no one's alive, then the universe is at peace. And
Yeah. Right, of course.
and I believe the Guardians created the Green Lantern Corps to defeat them and then replace them.
Okay. Did not know that. I'm learning a lot today. I hope our audience is too.
I have a feeling Manhunters might show up in this.
Yeah, so I was going to ask about um the quote unquote visitors, right? The aliens that are in this episode, which we haven't gotten to in the plot synopsis, but do you think that they might be Manhunters?
That's where I'm putting my money, but I'm not sure. I just, if you're talking about a alien species that has like beef with the Guardians in particular,
It's probably a
Yeah.
lot of them, though.
well, like, yeah, but
All right. Well, let's go ahead and read this next paragraph because I do like where you were going with that, and I want to talk about the interrogation scene. So, in Rushville, Hal and John
oh
discover
wait,
the aftermath. Oh,
sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Real quick, back to the. I really like the diner scene, or the taco
Like
stand
oh
scene.
yeah.
Seeing like Hal interacting with the public, and then him being like giddy to ask John what he made with the ring, and then
Yeah, that was fun.
John's like bubble wrap.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that scene also has the sort of, maybe it could be construed as like a meta commentary on his costume, because they're like, you don't wear your costume anymore.
Mm.
And he's
Yeah.
like, when you wear a suit, you don't want to wear a tie anymore. So something like that.
Yeah, how do we feel about the costume? What little we saw of it.
It looks all right. I'll say this much, and maybe this is a controversial opinion because I know it's not how it is in the books and stuff. But I actually prefer the costume being a real costume and not a construct.
Oh, it varies in the comic books.
Oh, it does? I thought it was always like the Ryan Reynolds movie or like the Justice League cartoon where it's like they just have like a construct suit over their clothes.
Yeah, modern day it's usually just a construct, but back in the day it was like a real suit.
Yeah, I like that it's a real suit. I think the suit is fine. I mean, we didn't see a ton of it. The angle he's sitting at in the interview is kind of weird.
Yeah.
His chin's facing a weird way and stuff. But it looks fine. I prefer that, like I like the explanation that he's not wearing it, and I also just kind of prefer no costumes, I think, for this story. I mean, like I'm assuming they're gonna leave the planet, right?
I would hope.
Yeah, I would also hope. And I think once they start doing that kind of shit, they'll put on the costumes. But I mean, for now, I'm fine with how that's being handled.
Hale was told not to skip town, so
True, but he was also told not to talk to that witness. Well, anyway, Thomas, thoughts on the costume situation or just the design of the costume?
I kind of wonder if they didn't like put too much into Hal's costume, given the fact that he's dead at the end of the season, maybe. And like maybe John's costume will look a bit better.
Yeah, it seems kind of bulky.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of padding on the chest. Yeah.
It
But
reminds me a lot of the Green Lantern Earth 1 costume. I don't know if either of you read that.
I have not. Let me look up what that looks like.
Because
I
it's like,
have a feeling a lot of this might take maybe not a lot, but there's going to be some influences from Earth 1 on this since it's more of a grounded.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with that either because, you know,
I
the
think the Earth
Batman
1
took a lot
comics
of Earth
are...
1 inspirations and that was great. So.
Well,
Yeah, okay, I
yeah.
can see it.
Yeah, I think it might just be because it's bulkier. That's what reminds me of. Because it's like, in Earth 1, it's modeled over his, like, space suit because he's a asteroid miner.
Okay.
I mean the comics and the like the TV shows, they make it look very sleek, but that wouldn't look good in live action. So I think
No.
there needs to be some kind of like layering and bulk to it. So I don't really mind it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that like you're gonna end up with a Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern suit. You know, like if it was all CGI or if it was like super skin tight, I don't think it would look good. Um, I also just read something yesterday that I forgot about, but I think we should mention. There was an interview with Kyle Chandler where he was like, "Yeah, at some point, we weren't gonna have the costumes."
Hmm.
Like very early on, they were, you know, they made the decision to introduce the costumes and put them into the show. But at some point in the writing process, very early on, he said that, you know, there was a draft where the costumes just didn't exist.
Oh. That kind of goes in... I have a bit of a theory that about the costume and when it will show up in the show.
Go ahead.
So we see 96, we see 2016, we see 2026. There's a gap there.
Yes.
And we know something happens in that gap because of the consciousness uploaded to the ring
Yes.
10 years prior to 2016, 2006. I think we might get another timeline in the show of 2006. And I think we will probably end up seeing Hale wear the suit there, and ultimately what ends up him not wearing the suit anymore.
Yeah, okay. I do agree. I think it's very intentional that they don't show us 2006 or 1986. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a flashback or something to Albin Sur and you know, the initial crash near Victoria Falls or not Victoria Falls, Rushville, Nebraska. He says it's like 20 miles or whatever from the bar they're at or something.
Mm.
But no, you're right. And he does seem like I had this as like a general note about Hal. I mean, I love Hal. Like, you know, just from this one episode, I love him. I don't know how accurate he is to Hal in the books, but he seems so abrasive and like the sheriff says, very lonely. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with the incident 10 years ago. Or the 2006, you know, not 10 years ago, but in 2006.
What if he actually like got kicked out of the Green Lantern Corps?
I mean
and that's why he doesn't wear the costume.
that
Oh.
that is a fun idea. And in the interrogation, the guy mocks him a little bit. You know, he's and maybe he just takes the oath very seriously, and that's why he gets pissed off. But maybe he gets pissed off because the guy knows that Hal's been kicked out.
Like a little bit of half and half.
And the Guardians are having John be trained because Hal's kind of gone rogue. Maybe that would be really fun.
And that would
That would
explain
be,
why he's so reticent to train John.
yeah.
And it would explain why it hasn't been backed up in 10 years.
Yes, yeah. I was wondering about the backup thing too. I think it's really cool. That like we get to see how, you know, he's a little bit different, you know. He's a little more cheerful, obviously younger in appearance, but uh the consciousness, there's Hale in Rushville, Nebraska thing. Do we think that was the consciousness, or do the rings have like some kind of AI that like alert them to incidents?
The
Because
rings...
the way I took it is like the ring was like a police scanner, and like the consciousness was just in that moment channeling whatever just happened in 2016.
Yeah, the rings definitely have some sort of like AI, some sort of consciousness. This is the only time I've seen like the whole uploading backing up your consciousness. I maybe it's in some run I've not read before. Um but I mean the rings kind of just do whatever the story needs them to do at any given moment. Uh
Right.
but like being some sort of fancy AI assistant is definitely something that they do quite often.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
it's kind of like a computer on their finger.
Because I did see some people online questioning, like, why did he know there was going to be an incident 10 years after his consciousness was uploaded? And I'm like, well, I don't think that's what it is. I think it just happened to be talking to John when some shit went down. And then it, just gave him a news update.
I think it's
Um,
kind of one of those things where it would work in a comic because you could give it like speech bubbles because if it's talking to them, but like that probably wouldn't work in the TV show.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
And it
maybe.
gives us a nice chance to glimpse at like a less jaded Hal too.
Oh yeah, I hope the hologram, as John puts it, comes back. I
That
thought that
made
was
me
very
laugh when he
fun.
said that. He said that with a straight face too. He's like, I talked to the
Yeah.
hologram.
Oh,
Yeah,
this show has a few like laugh out moments in this first
yeah. Oh,
episode.
oh yeah, we're about to get to another one, I think. Um no, John in general kind of surprised me because again, like I knew like his Rebel Ridge stick was like he's very serious, he's very intimidating. It's like John's got some soft spots. Like he is a pretty funny guy. Like he's very extroverted. I like later on when he shows the kid how to throw the football, which is cute because it's also kind of like how constructs work, right? Where it's like you just have to imagine it.
Mm.
Mm.
Um, he's a vegan, which I did not know.
That
I don't
disgusted me.
I don't know if that's how it is in the books. Not that it matters much, but that I know it's like these little wrinkles that you would not expect. I mean, he's funny. John's funny.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So let's move on to the next paragraph here. We only have like three um left anyway. In Rushville, Hal and John discover the aftermath of a mass shooting at a high school football game. That's not the funny part. But local sheriff Carrie Kane asks them not to intervene. John spots a suspect at the scene and the man's arrested, but Carrie refuses to let Hal interrogate him. At a bar, Hal recounts the day when he became a Green Lantern, taking the ring from a dying Abin Sur and accepting responsibility for Sector 2814. Hal picks a fight with a bar patron, hoping to get arrested so he can get close to the suspect. Instead, Carrie locks him in the station's broom closet. John flirts with an older woman at the bar, and they end up having sex. Oh, okay, all right. So this is it is. I was talking about the interrogation. Like
That was a good scene.
it was fucking great. It's
Yeah.
like he's get all the stuff about football, and he's like, "Where did Harry Potter go to school?"
Yeah.
or
But I mean there's a lot of good stuff before that too. Like
oh yeah,
just
yeah,
in
yeah, for sure. Like the
the
bar. The bar is very funny. Immediately when he was punching in the numbers on the jukebox, I noticed he was punching in the same three numbers over and over. And I'm like, oh my god, he's doing a, a John Mulaney.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also like though that even when they're at like the football game or the football field, they have Hal point out that one of the aliens is still there because there's a hoodie on the ground and there's a guy in like a short sleeve shirt and you can see their breath and it's cold. But then he tells John, he's like, "Oh yeah, go talk to the sheriff then, like bring it up to her." And the sheriff knows too, so it's not like they're making the small town sheriff seem stupid.
No.
She's
No,
Yeah.
just as capable as them.
I
I
like
did
I
love
like
that
Carrie a
detective.
lot.
I love that detective scene where John like recounts the whole events of like what happened and like
Yes.
points out the evidence he sees.
Yes,
Mhm.
that was very cool. I hope that continues. I really like that. And I also like that the sheriff is no pushover. Like and she's very smart. I like her a lot. I think she's played by Kelly McDonald. She's in a bunch of stuff. She was in No Country for Old Men as Llewellyn's wife. She's also one of the leads on Boardwalk Empire, which was a good show.
She also voices Princess Merida in Brave.
Yeah, there you go. Uh, Yeah, she's good. I like Hal's strategy at the bar. It doesn't work out for him, but again, it's just because the sheriff is a really smart person and is like, no, 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 I'm not letting you pull your little backdoor shenanigans to get this interrogation. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it was nice.
and we get to see the ring manifest something for the first time.
Yeah,
With the 20.
yeah, there were more constructs than I was expecting, which was nice. I was worried that we were going to have a Surf Dracula situation, which we still might have a Surf Dracula situation. And for those who don't know, Surf Dracula is a meme where it's like they'll, these days they make a show about Surf Dracula and he doesn't start surfing till the final episode. And it's like, I when is John going to put on the costume? When are they going to have big construct fights and stuff? And it's like they're already doing constructs and we've already seen the costume, so it's like they're not completely shying away from it. I like the shit that he makes. He counterfeits some money. What is it? A bottle opener?
Yeah.
Later on, the bubble wrap we don't see, but it's fun to imagine.
Yeah, we see John use it as a lighter when he's having sex.
Yes, that was fun too.
It seems like they're kind of easing their way in with the constructs for sure.
Yeah, and maybe that is the smartest thing to do, because if you are trying to appeal to a broader like HBO audience, you don't want to dive into the goofy shit too quickly, because it's like, I don't know, you want to get them acclimated. You're wading into the waters.
I will say a little selfishly, I wish it was a brighter shade of green. For a red green colorblind person, the shade of green shows up as very brown.
Oh, really?
Oh.
It's just too dark.
Yeah, they should have considered that.
Brown lantern.
Are there brown lanterns?
No.
Okay.
I think they just introduced a new lantern recently. I read somewhere a chrome lantern. But
oh god, sounds like a nightmare for the artist.
Blinding while being blinded by them, by the sun reflecting off their costume.
Okay, so we have a new lantern type. You guys are gonna have to start drawing this month, and it's nothing but reflections and light sources. So have fun with that. I like again, just another thing with John is like John's a flirt. John's flirting with this lady at the bar, and they just have casual sex in the parking lot, which was kind of weird. But good for them, I guess.
God forbid a man have a hobby.
Yeah.
I did love the line after the barbecue where he's like, "What was that all about?" I think I had sex with his wife. Okay, I know I had sex with his wife.
Yeah.
Hale's proud of him.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus, we've only been here 24 hours. Good job.
Well, he said the line about like eating off another man's grill, and I'm like, you made him the food. Why are you so mad? And I was like, oh wait.
Yeah, I also did not at first understand that he was talking about fucking his wife. I thought it was, I don't know what it was. I was like, why is he like trying to intimidate John right now? Like, I don't understand. They seem to, I really thought it was just because John was a vegan and he was insulted that he didn't try the barbecue.
I did too. Or I was like, well, you invited him. Like, can't be mad you cooked for him.
Yeah. And that's going to be nice. The some little personal drama there. I like that.
I think if aliens were like revealed to be real on Earth in the 80s, like in this universe, that man would be Alex Jones. That Alex Jones would be that man.
So at Hal's hearing, he's defended by lawyer Billy Macon, Carrie's husband. Hal's released on bail by Billy's father, William, which is not confusing at all. Billy and William. But is instructed not to leave town. William asks to meet Hal and John at a local ranch. William's taking care of the ranch for he's taking care of it for an undisclosed client and believes Hal should interrogate the jailed suspect using his connection to Carrie. John finds the woman at the ranch and learns that she's Zoe Macon, William's wife. Okay, so we talked about this part already, but we are introduced properly now to Billy and William. I like Billy. I mean, there's not a lot of him, but he seems like some nice little comic relief. I do like that it is like a real small town vibe where it's like, yeah, the sheriff is married to the lawyer who's the son of the largest landowner in town.
largest land caretaker.
Yeah.
That whole situation is weird.
Yeah, so
from the moment they got there.
So now let's talk about William. So William Aiken, what is his real motivation? Do we think he's got something sinister going on?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he gives off weird vibes. He's definitely hiding something. And he's like, "Oh, I can't tell you who I'm watching this for. I have an NDA."
Yeah. I just want to get this out of the way. I think he is good looking for a guy who's 61 years old. Like the actor.
The actor?
The actor is 61.
Really?
Oh,
I know he doesn't look like it. He doesn't look much older than Carrie or Billy, but he's 61 years old. And it was also really distracting because I'm like, I've definitely seen this guy before. Where have I seen him? He's the dad on Raising Hope.
Yes. I wanted to bring that up too.
Yeah.
Because he's such a goof on that show. And I was like, this is the same guy?
Yeah, I know. He's so different in this. But he looks really young. I haven't been able to get it out of my head, but like he mentions like being a student of history and colonization. He's very pro-Earth. He's rich. He looks very young for his age. Like, even if you don't know the actor's age, he looks like the same age as his son almost.
Mm.
Is this Vandal Savage?
Oh,
no, I don't think so. That'd be crazy.
Because he's here, and this is also where the meteor crashed. You know what I mean? Like, that was only 10 years ago, though. I guess that wouldn't make sense. But I don't know. Maybe it's a stretch, but I like the idea that they're just sneaking Vandal Savage into the DCU with this. And he's just using an alias, because that would explain his wealth. It would explain why he looks so good for his age. It would explain, why he has such an interest in history, and he's very pro-Earth, pro-humanity.
And Vandal does like doing the whole like, oh yeah, I'm like his alias is working for someone with money, and it's actually like a way of funneling his funds from being an immortal. And
yeah, maybe he's just working for himself. Like, because my first thought was obviously Lex, but I do think if he was working for Lex, it might make the world feel a little smaller.
Yeah, I was thinking like Lex or Waller, but like if they wanted to tie it into something pre-existing, but I don't necessarily love either of those.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other villains in like rich people or government agencies. Like
the Joker.
It doesn't have to be Argus or Lex or Maxwell Lord. I guess he's doing the Justice Gang. But I didn't know that about Vandal Savage, because my experience with Vandal Savage is just the Justice League cartoon, and then whatever the animated Justice League movie was that he's in. I forget the subtitle.
Doom.
Okay, yeah, I saw that one. And I knew about the meteor, and I knew he's like immortal and rich and shit. And I'm like, well, they meant, because I didn't catch the meteor thing when I was watching the episode, but it's in this summary here, and you guys caught it. And I'm like, maybe he became immortal like 10 years ago. I don't know. That would be kind of weird. I don't know. It's a stretch. I just want to throw it out there in case it ends up being true, and I just made a fucking 3-point throw from the first episode.
That'd be like a full court, I think.
Yeah. The following day, Hal interrogates the suspect, Waylon Sanders, who he believes may be an alien. Waylon confirms Hal's suspicions, taunting and angering him by reciting his oath, then activates an explosive device in his body. Hal quickly throws him to the ground and puts up a force field with his ring, containing the explosion and saving Rushville. Yeah, the interrogation, we talked about a little bit already. Very funny. It's also just nice to see Hal get to work. Like he is good at his job. Like he can sniff this guy out immediately, and he I mean, I guess the guy does blow up. Which may be more of a fact that, Hal's kind of like got nothing to lose, and he's been kind of off his game, or, he's not the same Lantern he used to be, but he immediately sniffs this guy out. And I do like that.
Hale needs to get his lantern to Rushville, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hale needs to get his lantern to Rushville ASAP.
So that's something else I'm confused about as a guy who doesn't read Green Lantern. So Hal has a lantern, like a literal lantern on Earth somewhere.
Yes.
And he has to recharge the ring.
Yeah.
So like if the ring is his phone, the lantern's a battery bank, and then there's a big lantern on Oa that's the source.
So does he have to charge his lantern with the big lantern on Oa?
Typically it's the lanterns just have like way more than enough
Wireless charging.
energy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I feel like that has been a plot point though, where they've had to like, oh, I gotta go to recharge the battery on Oa.
Could be. Like I said, I haven't read every Green Lantern story there is.
I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, he needs to get that shit, but he can't leave town. He can't leave town. He's on bail. He's a flight risk.
Yeah, I mean, could send John.
I mean, yeah, and
Could.
maybe that'll happen, or maybe he'll just say, oh, "I'll be right back," and go, fly over to get it from his house.
Yeah, I do miss the green energy for him flying.
Yeah, it was not weird at the taco stand, but I was kind of expecting like a green silhouette, especially if they're not doing the costumes all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I get that it might be like just tougher to do with live action and that. But...
Yeah. Barack Hussein Obama. The guy's like, he was the 44th president. I believe there was some controversy with his birth certificate, and that's all he has to say. Like that got a really hard laugh out of me.
Yeah, you're a Southern guy, and that's all you have to say about Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah. You don't know where Harry Potter went to school. You've got no fucking thoughts on Obama. That was good. That was really good. I was wondering, going back to the Manhunter thing that you brought up earlier, Jerry. The guy mentions like being here for like purposes of war or something like that. Like he has that weird speech where he's like, hypothetically, blah 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 blah, we'd be here for the opposite reason of the Green Lanterns, which is peacekeeping. So war. I'm like, well, okay, so whoever this is or whoever they are, the people who died and this guy, they're here for, they're here to pick a fight with Earth or pick a fight with the Lanterns on Earth. And now that I know about the Manhunters, I guess that fits in pretty well. It also, I mean, if they're robots, I guess it makes sense why they wouldn't have thoughts on Barack Hussein Obama, but they would know like who the first Nebraska, I don't know the fucking football questions he asks, but
My favorite part of that scene was when he slammed into the wall and he goes, Harry Potter went to Hogwarts, you ignorant alien fuck.
Yeah. The force field thing, he grabs it with his hands. I thought that like the constructs had to be like shooting out of a beam in the I don't know. What I'm trying to say is like, can they work like separately from the ring usually?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think the confusion is because a lot of times the constructs are depicted during fights. So when they're like coming out of the ring, either it's just like an extension of like a punch almost, and you're seeing it as like the action line.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can like there's once Hale makes like an entire city with like people walking around and stuff completely untethered from his ring.
Well, even Guy made, what do we want to call those, stemless constructs in Superman?
Yeah, okay.
Because he had the giant hands throwing the tanks.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of times that the stem is like an action line almost, like you're seeing it coming out of the ring, but not necessarily, they don't need to be attached.
Yeah, I guess earlier in the show you see the money just kind of materialize in front of the ring. But I don't know. Yeah, okay. So you don't have to like how do I put this? Like typically, like if a Green Lantern in the Justice League show is like containing an explosion or whatever, he'll like have his fist closed with the ring aimed at it and he'll have his other hand, bracing his arm and shit. And it's like here, the ring is just on his hand, but he's just like grabbing it. So I guess his whole body kind of acts as like a direction for the constructs. I'm just not used to seeing that, I guess. It's not a big deal. I don't have a problem with it at all, actually. I just was wondering how, again, like as someone who's not a Green Lantern guy, how the function of the ring worked.
Yeah, it it's really up to like who's up, whatever artist is interpreting the powers, how they end up manifesting in that way.
That's all I got until the end, I think. The 2026 section. Anybody else?
Um,
I think I'm good.
yeah, I think
Okay.
we hit everything I wanted.
Yeah, so like we already discussed, it jumps ahead even further to 2026, present day. John returns to Rushville, reuniting with Carrie. They arrive at the football field from 2016 and they discover Hal's frozen corpse in the bleachers and his ring is missing.
Is he in the same spot that he was at the start?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I didn't like line up the frames and
Mm.
check, but he's in the same football field in the same set of bleachers. He's got a bullet hole in his head. His corpse is frozen. And yes, John notices that his ring is gone.
Did you notice
So
like he sheds a tear as he finds the ring is gone?
I didn't notice that, but that's really nice.
It was
I'm
real subtle, but like I was like, oh wow.
I'm dumb because I didn't even notice that the ring. Like, I guess because I don't know if you guys watched the little like spotlights after the credits,
No.
No.
but they're like, yeah, he notices if you notice like Hal's not wearing the ring and John's not wearing the ring. I'm like, oh yeah, John doesn't have the ring either. Where is it?
Mm.
Yeah, because I mean that's a good point. Like I was wondering, like, has John just been a backup for 10 years?
I think so.
That's crazy.
I mean, he said he's a patient man.
Yeah, I guess so. But I also had the thought, like, oh, maybe Hal didn't bring the ring with him, but that would be really stupid. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he knew he was going to die and he didn't bring the ring because he didn't want to get swiped. But
Or possibly
if Hal died, wouldn't the ring go to John? Like, fly to him or whatever?
unless someone like intercepted it somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, so the big question is, I think, well,
Is he actually dead?
yeah, is Hal actually dead? I
don't
know. And I think I'm okay with either outcome, honestly. Like I really think Kyle Chandler is he's great in this role. Like I really love Hal in this so far. And I'd love to see him stick around for as many stories as the James Gunn and the DCU want to tell with Hal Jordan. But if he's dead, like that's a really ballsy thing to do and I love it. And I think the execution in this episode is really good.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that Hal Jordan was only interesting right after he became Parallax, but like after his initial like heel turn, because he kind of sticks around as like an anti-hero for a bit where he's just kind of an asshole and everyone won't let him forget what he did. And but we're kind of getting that like gruff Hal right now. So if we don't get like a whole Parallax storyline, I wouldn't necessarily be upset.
So, for the uninitiated, could you explain what parallax is? And by uninitiated, I mean me.
It's when the screen moves and
No. I don't. Shut up.
So Emerald Twilight. So in the comics, I was it one of the crises that it's unimportant. Coast City gets blown up, just
nuked.
It's gone. It's a hole in the ground, and Hale loses his mind. He earlier when I said that he constructed like a whole city and a bunch of people. That was now. He recreates Coast City and everyone in it with his lantern ring, but they're like memories of the people there, not necessarily really their like consciousnesses. And it like instant drains his battery. Like it only lasts for a little bit, and he's like, I need to get more rings. So he goes on a conquest and beats up every Green Lantern member and steals all of their rings. And if you've ever seen the picture of Hale just looking crazy with a ring on every finger, that's from this run. And he becomes a villain, Parallax. Eventually, I believe that's when Kyle Rayner gets introduced and he defeats him. And Hale, for a while, occupies this weird spot where he's not a villain, but like an anti-hero spot. And everyone, like, no one's happy with him. Everyone's kind of like giving him shit. But he, like, sometimes when there is a big enough threat, they're like, hey, we'll go ask Parallax, Hale, whatever. Eventually it gets retconned that it was a... So, the Green Lanterns have a weakness to yellow? That is because
Yes,
there
I
is
do.
every Lantern Corps has, like, an entity that is, like, the Green Lanterns, I forget the name, but it's like a big whale. And, like, there's this weird, like, spider, not insectoid creature that is yellow, that is Parallax, and that's the one for the Yellow Lanterns, and the Guardians trapped it in the Green Lantern power battery on Oa. And that's what gave the Green Lanterns their weakness to yellow. And it got retconned that took over Hale, and he became Parallax. And that's when Parallax got lame, in my opinion.
I was wondering because I haven't like read all that, but I do remember like Parallax being some sort of creature. So I was like, wait, I thought there was the creature involved, not just
Yeah,
Hal, because I
no,
know Hal was Parallax, but
yeah, originally it was just his villain name.
Mhm. Well,
Okay.
I do know that I'm pretty sure Sinestro is going to appear in this show. So are they going to do Yellow Lanterns? Like, are there other lanterns in
Yeah,
universe?
I
Or are
mean,
they
the
going to
Green
show them?
Lanterns. Sorry, I just want to say, like, the Green Lanterns have existed since at least the 1980s.
let's
So
not
I
forget that
think it
Sinestro
stands
is a Green Lantern first.
right, right. It stands to reason that the other lantern colors could exist by now because it's been so long.
Mm.
I mean, even just with them being on Earth, like superheroes and shit. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, are there any? Does Hal die in the comics?
I mean, who doesn't die in the
Well, okay,
comics?
yes, but you know what I mean. Like, are there any story arcs involving like Hal's death? Like, is it a I guess my question is, if they choose to actually kill Hal, and this isn't just a fake out with like an alien disguised as him or something, is there a way to bring him back or use his death to tell another story?
Mm.
Oh, well, I mean, Blackest Night.
Yeah, that'd be the obvious one.
Okay, I feel I am a little familiar with that, but that one, I mean, that would be pretty far off, wouldn't it? Isn't that like
Yeah.
a whole brand wide crossover thing?
Mm. Like every superhero that came back from the dead at some point. That's like that's like the big plot point of Blackest Night is like everyone that was touched by death before gets a Black Lantern
Oh,
ring, except
okay.
I think Barry outruns his.
Of course. Okay, just like a show of hands, does who thinks Hal is really dead?
See, if they didn't bring up the thing earlier in the episode where he was like, oh, there's dozens of different aliens that can make themselves look just like humans, I think I might be more leaning towards dead. But I feel like that was kind of like a hint line. So I feel like he's not dead.
I kind of want him to be dead, but I am leaning towards him not being dead. Maybe it's the hologram.
Oh, maybe. I mean, we don't see it interact with anything, so we don't know how physical, like if it can react to touch and stuff. I I think it would be really ballsy if they just actually killed him. And I think maybe the alien thing is introduced to make people think it's a fake out.
Mm.
But the real fake out is that it's not going to be a fake out. I don't know. But I really like that they're pulling a Last of Us 2 here. And it's like we're not going to have Hal because we're going to see Hal a ton across the course of this show.
Mm. Even if they do more seasons, we could. The show is definitely no stranger to flashbacks already.
True. And maybe the hologram just stays with John. Maybe they could do more John stories and Hal is just the hologram.
That could be interesting. Like it keeps his consciousness stored in the ring.
Yeah, kind of like Ironheart in the comics anyway, and how like Tony Stark is the voice in the suit.
I will say just his age makes me question if it's like really if he's dead, because I mean it's not like Kyle Chandler's old. It's definitely on the older side for a Hal Jordan. So if they were gonna kill him off, I could see why, I guess.
Yeah, no, the main Lantern is definitely John, for sure. I mean, it'd be nice to have Hal stick around, but I do like what they're doing here. So if they, like I said, earlier, I'm fine with either outcome. And we already talked about this question, but like, who has the ring? Is it William Macon? Is it Guy Gardner? Is it a Manhunter? I guess it's too early to tell, but it's an interesting question to think about as we move forward in the show.
I really liked all the questions that the pilot set up. And it didn't really it didn't go out of their way to like answer anything in the first episode, which I kind of like because, now it feels like there's going to be things revealed every episode. It's good groundwork for the rest of the season.
Yeah. In general, I just think, it's a really solid show. Great writing, great performances. I'm really excited for this. We just did our Supergirl episode. I think I may have been a little too positive on it. The more that I've kind of sat with Supergirl, the more I'm thinking it's more like I don't know. I liked it, but I think I said I'd give it like a 7 in the review we did in the park. I'd probably bump that down to a 6 now, because I really just don't like the changes they made from the comic.
Yeah.
But speaking as a guy who has not read any Green Lantern comics, so what's my opinion worth? But just someone watching the show, I think this is really strong writing. I don't know, probably the best writing the DCU has had so far. Like, I mean, I like Peacemaker and Superman and stuff, but
yeah, I was like kind of cautiously optimistic going into it, but this blew me away. It was so much better than I expected it to be.
Does anyone else like? I guess I wasn't expecting them to swear so much. They'd be saying like "fuck" a lot.
I didn't really have expectations about that. I mean, I figured if they, 3 years ago when James Gunn did his big announcement thing, he did cite True Detective as an inspiration. And if you've seen True Detective, swearing is one of the more mild things that show has. So I wasn't really expecting it to be PG.
I guess I was just maybe expecting it to be a bit more broader, just because Green Lantern is one of the bigger characters. Which I guess isn't to say that like they couldn't make a Green Lantern movie that is like PG-13.
So here's the thing with that. James Gunn said, the idea for the DCU is that all of these projects are going to have different tones. So it's like, you'll see John and Hal swear here and have sex and stuff. But when John
with
shows
each other,
wait, that's not. Well, there's still 7 episodes left. Maybe that's why John was crying.
Now we know the ring is. But it's not on his hand.
Oh my god! But when John shows up next year in Man of Tomorrow, which we know is happening because we've gotten an update from the trades that Aaron Pierre's joined the cast list, he's definitely going to be more in the tone and spirit of Superman from last year. Like the idea isn't that they all have the same homogenous like feel, you know what I mean? So like I'm okay. I like that this one is darker and they can swear and they show people with bullets through their heads and sex and stuff. And it's like that doesn't stop the Green Lanterns from being more PG in other projects where the tone makes more sense. Even Marvel's doing this now with Spider-Man Brand New Day, like Punisher's in it and he fits perfectly, but he's way more like PG than he is in his own show and other projects, which are very R rated.
Yeah, and getting back to the comics, Green Lantern's no stranger to darker themes. Famously, that cover of Speedy taking heroin is a Green Lantern, Green Arrow story.
That's true, yeah. Classic. I have seen that cover.
I guess it's not that I don't like that they're doing it. I just didn't expect there to be as much as there is in the episode.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, really, I guess
You
you're gonna
haven't
say
seen
it
True
once, you might as
Detective,
well.
I
No.
guess. If you've seen True Detective, this is not a surprise, I think.
Thomas, I'm right here with you, hand in hand. I also haven't seen True Detective.
Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Before we go, like, just because this is a chance for us to give little updates on DC, I don't want to say I told you so again, but like I fucking called it. Like, since we did the Supergirl review, in which we discussed the current status of the DCU, we've gotten reports from the trades that Paradise Lost and the Waller show are done. They're canceled. And like I talked about it, I think in our Blue Beetle episode, Thomas, but I was like, this is a lot of stuff to announce. And, you know, it had been 3 years when we recorded our episode on Blue Beetle or which Shazam 2 or whatever episode it was. And it's like, we had gotten 0 updates. And it's like Paradise Lost, canceled. Waller, canceled. Booster Gold, he claims it's still happening, but the trades say otherwise. So I'm going to say canceled. The Authority, canceled.
I heard that Booster Gold is getting redeveloped with someone else.
Well, either way, it's been over 3 fucking years. The point stands, like, you should not announce all this shit in advance. If it's not happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
It just makes you look incompetent when you have to cancel all this stuff. Just keep your mouth shut until you have things that are ready to show off to people.
Yeah, but then people are gonna bitch that you haven't shown anything. So it's
Well, they haven't shown anything anyway.
I mean, they've had stuff come out, but I'm just saying, like, if they didn't announce anything, then they would be bitching.
They have a fucking track record of like 40% right now. Like, out of the 10 things they've announced, 4 have come out, and at least 3 of them have been canceled. And yes, we have Clayface, but that was offered up to them by Mike Flanagan on a silver platter. Peacemaker Season 2 was not part of it either, but that's kind of my point. You don't need to call your shots that far out in advance. I'm a big fan of everything that they've been doing so far, as far as projects that have actually come out. Supergirl, I'm a little more lukewarm on, but Creature Commandos was good, if you want to count that. Both seasons of Peacemaker and Superman and this so far.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that, where's Batman? Where's Wonder Woman? Like, why are we... And I'll say this, like, if we are going to cancel Paradise Lost and Waller to put time and resources towards Wonder Woman or Batman, then I'm all fucking for it, because I didn't ask for either of those shows. And I thought from the onset those were pretty stupid. Like, people don't give a shit about Waller. They give a shit about the Suicide Squad. And nobody gives a shit about Themyscira outside of Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. So a prequel show without her in it would not have been interesting to me. Yeah. This is my first time to talk about this on the podcast since we did the Supergirl episode. So I just wanted to get that all out.
What's even left for next year with all these cancellations? There's Man of Tomorrow.
That's
Creature Commandos Season 2.
Is that confirmed? Is that happening? Sure.
I thought I saw that somewhere.
I think it's releasing next year.
Did the trades report that? Did Gunn report that?
I'm pretty sure he said it.
Like, for all we know, the Jimmy Olsen show could come out next year, or Mr. Miracle, or the Blue Beetle show, which is never happening. Like, I don't know.
Are they just in like a holding pattern, see how Clayface and Man of Tomorrow do,
and
then take another 3 years?
Beyond that, how is the merger going to go with Paramount? Maybe they merge with Paramount, and unlike everything we've heard publicly, things between the Ellisons and DC Studios are not great. And maybe they just decide, fuck it, let's reboot it again. Because as far as I know, they don't have anything on the books for 2028 and beyond. And yeah, that sounds far, but that's only 2 years from now. And if you look at the MCU slates over the past 20 years, like, they would plan their shit out very far in advance, and more often than not, like 95% of the time, they would hit those fucking release dates.
You're forgetting about the Batman Part 2.
But that's not part of this.
That's produced by them.
But that's not part of this.
Yeah, I think they need to take some drastic measures, wrap Batman into this whole thing, and they need to bring in the one man that can save this franchise.
Kite Man.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh.
Black Adam is a multiversal character, as Dwayne Johnson told us. Like, he's in the same world as Joker and Superman. So
When he shows
I don't
up in
know.
the last episode of Lanterns, you won't be laughing.
That'd be awesome.
Oh God. We get the flashback in 1986, and Dwayne Johnson plays Abin Sur. Yeah. So look, like, I know I seem to complain about it a lot and shit on it a lot, but it's like I want the DCU to succeed. It's just I can't help but point out that like they've made a lot of questionable choices as far as planning goes and the speed of these projects. Like, I'm sorry, but it should not have taken them this long to put together a fucking Batman movie.
Well,
It's-
that's probably because fucking Matt Reeves took 5 years to make another movie.
But what does Matt Reeves' script have to do with them writing a script now?
Because people are dumb and they're gonna be like, "Oh, why is there two Batman?"
I'm not talking about release or filming. I'm saying they don't have a fucking script.
Well, why bother writing one if you can't make it?
Because then it'll be ready when you can make it?
Why would you
I don't
be
know what the fuck
prepared?
they've been doing.
Well, then they could. Yeah.
What
they
superhero is
could put those
famously prepared for
resources.
everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Marvel doesn't need a script for Secret Wars or whatever,
But the whole point
Doomsday.
of this is that they don't want to emulate Marvel's awful patchwork method. The whole thing from the onset is that James is like, we're going to have good scripts and work from there. And like from what we've actually seen, that isn't always true. Like he said Supergirl was the best script they ever had. Or of the remaining projects so far, the best script they've got. And that script wasn't the best part of that movie. It was actually like the weakest part.
He actually just read Women of Tomorrow and thought it was a script.
I don't know. Like, and maybe I'll cut all this out because this is like at the end and I'm going on a tangent. I wanted to point out, like, hey, it's been another few months and we have 2 more canceled projects from the Chapter 1 slate. It's not a good look. That's all I'm trying to say. And it's like, we still haven't gotten any updates on Swamp Thing or Teen Titans, Sergeant Rock, which was soft confirmed and then canceled. I don't know if Gunn is actually good at being this architect of this multi-project thing. Like he's a good director, I think he's a good writer, but I'm questioning his capabilities as like a Kevin Feige type.
I was trying to look up some of the projects, and I tried to click on one of the writers' names, and it's linking to Captain America: Brave New World
Oh, that's a great sign.
on Wikipedia. No, that's the writer is linking to the movie itself, and I don't know why.
Oh. That's very strange. Anyway, that's Lanterns. Jerry, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And Jerry will continue to join us for every episode of Lanterns, as well as our next series, which will be starting in, I believe, late September or early October. And I don't want to spoil what that is yet, but the calendar is relevant. I think, is that okay to say?
I think so.
So yeah, we will see you guys next week. We're going to be putting these up on Fridays, which means I'm going to have to edit and upload this today because we're also recording on Friday. But yeah, so the next one will be on Friday the 28th. And as always, Raccoon Shitty will continue on Mondays until that's done. And yeah, that's it. All right. See you guys.
Goodbye.